There's nothing that will be fatal as long as you still love the mission that you're on.
I'm having a problem with execution.
Buck up and get this thing done because people need you. Oh, Champs-Elysees.
Oh my God.
And there she is.
Oh my gosh. Hi, how are you?
How are you? I like the blue wall. That's great.
I was actually this is part of my self-care thing. I reserve some time for creativity, and honing on writing and singing and all that other side of myself, which opens me up. Actually, it opens me up to more.
Let's hear something.
Oh, I was singing Francis Cabrel right now.
What is that?
Je t'aime, je t'aimerai. Yeah. So it's
I don't know very many French
ex-military,
songs.
so I went completely opposite, everything creative.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. The only French song that I know some of the words to is the Champs-Elysees. Oh, Champs-Elysees.
Oh,
Au soleil,
les
sur la pluie.
Champs-Élysées.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Champs-Elysees. And then?
Oh, les Champs-Élysées. Yeah. You're in Toronto.
Au
How's it
soleil,
out there?
sur la pluie. À midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez aux Champs-Elysees. All right. Toronto's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun and unexpected. What do we got, Vicky? How can I help?
I'm having a problem with execution.
Okay.
I have a problem with trusting. There's so many people reaching out on internet with crypto and with this and with that. And having issues. A lot of people are doing startups and have claims of leadership or claims of, and sorry, that's my service dog. She's playing with batteries.
Nice.
I have a service dog. My question to you is, like, when you have an idea, when you're brewing something up and you've talked to a few people about it, what's your first step into scouting out how you're going to execute?
I worry very little about how I'm going to execute. I just go do something.
Okay.
Like, I think when you get an idea, sometimes telling your friends is the right move, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes your friends just poke holes in it and tell you why it sucks, and that doesn't help because it's just an idea. Of course, there's tons of holes in it. Like, you don't know what you're doing at the start, and so people overthink the first step and overthink the how, where the how really is just you got to start doing something. What's something that you're struggling on how to get started?
Trust.
Trust with who?
Trust with my ideas.
Okay.
Like I went to lock down the idea with some lawyers and stuff, and they were from the U.S. and things were a little bit different here. I don't want to fear of having fear, I guess. Fear of putting myself out there, and it's a really great idea, and it would help a lot of people. I am built to serve. Totally built to serve. I do not do anything if it's not. I ask myself, okay, if I'm going to do this action, who is it helping? Why am I doing it? Because or else the passion fizzles out, right? So it's got to be lined up with my value system, with my family, with the life I want for myself. And so, yeah, built to serve. But I'm having trust issues with trusting people with my idea that would take advantage of it and only see the dollar signs and not the service of it to people who need it.
Yeah. So you're worried about sharing your idea with the wrong people?
Yes.
And then what? That they're going to run with your idea and leave you in the dust?
Maybe. I don't know. Because I'm new at this, right? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen. I follow Bethany Frankel a lot. I love her a lot, and I love the work that she does, especially with the relief stuff. I follow people who give back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to help.
Okay, but so what's the worst case scenario for you? Like, you're going to tell somebody your idea and it's the wrong person who's not service driven and just doing money signs. What's in your head as like, what's the worst case scenario for you? What are you so afraid of?
That they'd use it in a wrong way.
That they use you in the wrong way?
No, that they would use I don't know.
And cut you out, or what? Like, you're working with them and they screw you over, or they just cut you out and do it on their own, or what? What are you super concerned about?
I don't know. That I'd have no input in the long run. That they would take it and, of course, have more funds or something like that to solidify how they want to do it. My dog is eating clips right now. I gotta get up and.
It's the best.
I know, Xena. Stop that.
Come on, Xena, the warrior princess.
I've had her for about 3 weeks. She's a rescue that was given to me by Wounded Warriors Canada and trained for my PTSD. And I guess she's feeling my nervousness, maybe.
That's great. Hey, she's a good service dog.
She is. She is.
The idea is your idea, and it's birthed from your heart. And nobody will be able to run your idea the way that you can run the idea. Mm-hmm. So when people tell me every day, almost, somebody is messaging me to say, hey, Evan, this person is taking your idea. Somebody else is doing a top 10 rules for success or whatever. Okay. I mean, I spend zero time thinking about that, because if all you're doing is being an Evan Carmichael copycat, you're never gonna ultimately win. Like, being an Elvis impersonator is a business model, but it's better for you to go and create your own art instead of just trying to be somebody else, right? So Elvis isn't worried about Elvis, and Elvis isn't alive. Sorry for all the conspiracy theorists, right?
He's not worried about the people in the race.
It's like, you don't worry about the people. So if your idea, people are so concerned about giving up their idea. It's like, but the idea without you isn't an idea. Like, the idea alone isn't enough. It's the heart behind it. Yeah.
And I realize it takes a lot of consistency and effort and structure to run an idea to flourishing, to actually implement it. And it's like a baby, right? It's the first 10 years or 5 years or whatever. And I'm a veteran that has PTSD and some other, physical issues due to service. And I'm just, what if I can't run, what if I fall? Because I have a tendency to invest, and then I'm passionate about it, and then I'm tired and I'm broken, and I'm, the balance isn't quite there yet.
Well, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times did you run a drill and fall?
Yeah.
And then what did you do?
I had to get back up.
Get back up and you keep running, right? I mean, you're the key is that the falls are just micro falls, not a macro fall. Yes. Right? And that
how do you get back
have to
up?
Finish well, you just how do you get back up? You plant one foot in front of the other and you push yourself back up and you go finish the course.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
You finish the mission. You finish there's nothing that will be fatal as long as you still love the mission that you're on.
It's to help people, actually. It's to have.
I feel it.
To be able to gauge themselves, people tend to over push in workouts and not be aligned, and their hips are not aligned when they're doing certain positions and stuff. So it's to help people. Since COVID, a lot of people have been training at home, and a lot of injuries can happen when you're training on your own. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, you might hurt yourself, and if you do, it doesn't mean never work out again. It means maybe one, we need to go slower, and two, we need to actually learn some technique so that we're not hurting ourselves. This happened to me. So I'm doing yoga 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week, like every 2 days. So some days it's 3, some weeks it's 3, some weeks it's 4. And I
tried yoga like a decade ago or maybe 8 years ago from a YouTube video and just pulled every muscle in my body. Like it just, the next day was, and if it wasn't yoga, it was me. I think I'm doing it right because I'm watching video, but obviously I did a whole bunch wrong because I was in pain, and not the good pain, like a good workout pain, just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible pain. And I just wrote off yoga, and so that's a mistake. Like the problem isn't yoga. The problem is me. I didn't learn it properly. I need better instruction. I need guidance. So we, hired a bunch of instructors who now teach us, my wife and I, every 2 days how to do yoga, and it's so much better. So the message is to keep going, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that working out isn't for you. Of course, if you want to live a long, healthy life, you have to learn to take care of your body and you have to work out. But it doesn't mean push yourself like a maniac, and it doesn't mean hurt yourself, right? There's better ways to do it. So if you take that analogy for your business and your idea, it's the same thing. It's like you need to not stop yourself. Like you're throwing up all of these hurdles in front of your own business and your idea, which is me not doing yoga for 8 years. Like you can't wait 8 years for you to launch this thing because people need it.
Yeah.
Right. And you will fall and you will make mistakes and it won't be perfect. And some people may not be the best for you. And you may talk to a potential business partner who doesn't have the right interest, right? I mean, you just have to trust that your heart will guide you to the right decisions. Like you decided to ask to come on live here, right? That wasn't me like picking on you. You said, pick me, I want to come on live. And I was all set. Listen, I was all set to
stuff. And there's so many times that I go on here and I was like, oh, I wish I could ask him some questions. My other question about balance, you have a wife, you have a child, and you have a bunch of ideas. Like I'm a really creative person. I was an F-18 technician for 24 years. I was fixing jets. So I had to sometimes do repairs that were unconventional and needed some imagination. What I'm finding is as I'm moving forward and opening up my creativity, I have a bunch of ideas. How do you select which one, or do you just push 3 at the same time or focus on the one, bring that one to fruition and then move on to the next?
It's the same answer as the first question. You're asking how questions, right? It's like you do it. Okay. What's the smallest possible way to get started? And then you do it. And the key to figure out is what makes you come alive the most. Because in your 3 ideas, what you could do, you got 3 ideas for Vicky 2021. Perfect. You could research and plan and strategize and watch videos and read books and attend seminars for the rest of the year and still not have taken any action on it. And no matter how many conversations you have with me or friends or whoever, I can't tell you which idea you should do, right? Like they could all be, I'm sure they're all great ideas. Trust it because it came to you, it's a good idea, period. Like the fact that it came to you, as long as it has good intention, like is my intention to serve? Is my intention to help? Is my intention to do good? Yes, great. Then it's a good idea. Until you start actually doing it, you won't know until if it feels right and something you want to commit the next 5 years of your life to doing. Okay. Right? So whatever the smallest possible thing that you could do on any of those ideas, that's how you should start. Okay. Like what could you do today on that idea that feels insignificant and tiny and small and like not a big step at all? That's the step. Okay. So if somebody wanted to become, like if somebody wants to get into the Air Force and be a mechanic, that's a long process, right? Like that's not just something you just do tomorrow.
I do a lot of that for especially youth because they don't know what they're getting into or how to. Yeah. So there's, I have experience.
But if that's somebody's dream, right? Potentially, then what's the best thing you can do today? Well, go try to visit an airbase. Yeah. And just be on the base. And how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like, wow, this is epic. Like I want to be here. Or does it feel like, oh, this actually doesn't feel like what I thought it was going to feel like? Because no matter how much you read about it or watch videos about it or anything else, like you just won't know until you start actually doing it, right? I use the example of thinking through sushi. Like, how do you know if you like sushi? Well, you don't know until you put it in your mouth because it sounds gross. It's raw fish and seaweed and rice and hot mustard and soy sauce, and that's going to be good. It sounds nasty, but then you eat it, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Or some people might think it still is nasty, whatever. But you don't know until you actually just put it in your mouth and you see if it tastes good.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do with your ideas. You need to put it in your mouth and eat it and see if it tastes good.
Yeah.
And if it tastes good, you go back and you keep doing it, and you'll get better at it. And you develop the skill sets. You know, like if you can fix a jet plane, you could fix anything.
Yeah, my husband says. So he doesn't call anyone. He just relies on wifey.
So you can figure anything out, but if you just over researching, overthinking, over planning, over asking instead of just tasting it, and don't worry if the first step sucks. It's gonna suck, but you just try it and you see, how does it make you feel?
The self-confidence thing and the perfectionism of my past trade, you know, that's lingering. If you're not going to do it right the first time, don't do it at all, which was that. But I'm trying to move out of that mindset and say, try everything, fail at everything, but fail forward.
Sure. But, you know, it's like now speeding that up, because your two questions about how do I do this, but it doesn't matter. You just got to do something. Like the thing, and I, you know, I've helped a bunch of people through military to entrepreneurship transition, and like highly structured. You're told exactly what to do all the time, like saps the creativity. And now you're like, oh my God, I'm on my own. What do I do? I don't have my friends anymore. There's no community anymore. I'm by myself. How do I come back to, you know, normal life, especially if you've been in combat and just, anyway, the thing to keep from it is, it's not like throw the whole thing away. The thing to keep is the discipline, and that something has to happen today.
Yeah.
Right. The thing that you want to step into is the creativity and the love and the service. All that is great, but something has to happen today. And the discipline that I'm going to show up, and the mental toughness to show up and do it, even when you don't know how. Like if you were to tell your commanding officer, I don't know about that, I have imposter syndrome, I don't know if I can do this or not. Like, what are you talking, Vicky? Do it.
Oh no, we don't. We're like, yeah.
So we need a little bit of that, you know, back to show yourself and remind yourself what a badass you are, and that you'll figure it out.
I am badass. Thank you.
Well, it's just remembering that, because that's the only thing that's missing. It's not like, it's just, I'm a badass. My heart is good. This is for service. This is to help other people. And I'm going to start.
System. Yeah.
You cut out for a second. I didn't hear that part.
And it's in alignment with my value system, and, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Today, are you in Toronto? Where are you Canadian?
I'm in Ottawa.
Okay, close enough. So listen, it's 2:30 almost. Today's goal is, how do I take a micro action on all three of my ideas?
I already did.
On all three?
Yes. I love
it.
We were talking earlier on, you were mentioning, you know, how to train, and, you know, you overstressed your body your first session of yoga. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a little bit, you know, gray, like white or black, and I tend to overtrain as well. If I'm going to go for a short run, I might end up for a 2-hour run, you know, it depends on how I feel. So I have a kinesiologist. And so I did discuss my ideas with a kinesiologist, show her the project, and we're going to act on that. And then I need to call the chiropractor so she can put her little 2 cents on the project. So when I do go forward, then it's solidified by a kinesiologist and a chiropractor.
Yeah, I mean, having experts to help you, and if you know that you go crazy, having some people, sometimes you need somebody to put the brakes on a little bit too.
Well, that's what a kinesiologist is there for. I have a kinesiologist twice a week, and she doesn't allow me to do push-ups or sit-ups or anything like that. She goes, no, your muscles, your injuries, you need to build muscle before you go back to what you were doing before. So, and she sets the brakes on me. My husband does too. He says, okay, you've been doing enough, go sit down. Or, I tend to go over and push myself past my physical limits and mental limits. And learning how to respect my body and everything else in my family life is certainly a balancing act after serving for 24 years where you're either really on or really off, So, yeah. Well, thank you for that.
You got it.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Send you less love. And when you feel doubt and you feel insecurity, the two things to think about are, one, that you are a badass in what you've come through and what you've done, that this thing is the thing that's holding you back compared to what you've been through. Like this little thing compared to what you've done, really? Right? Like that's what I tell myself too. It's like I broke my neck in 2019 and kept going on my tour, and like making a video is the thing that's causing me what? Right? Just to remind yourself of how badass you are. And then two, the service. It's like, hey, every day that you are in your head thinking about this idea, instead of actually releasing it,
I'm not serving.
You're not serving people. And somebody's being hurt because they're not following a method that you can help them with. And for what? Because you're overthinking this thing. Now people aren't getting the help they need because you're up in your head, right? So that's the little more like, oh my God. Come on, Vicky, what are we doing here, right? Like sometimes you need more of the push to be like, man, buck up and get this thing done because people need you. And sometimes you need more of the pat on the back. It's like, I've been through way worse than this, right? So like whatever you're feeling more, either the pat on the back or like the push to go forward are the easiest ways to get out of your head and into action mode.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I'll leave. I don't know how to get off this thing, but I'm going to continue. I want to leave the space for others as well. Thank you so much for letting me join this live. And I love your content and you encourage me every day. Just want to
appreciate you, Vicky. And listen, thank you for putting up your hand because not everybody does. And I wasn't even going to bring somebody in, but I don't know. I saw your face and like, okay, you know what? Let's bring in Vicky. All right. Much love. Thank you, Vicky.
Much love. Take care.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
So I actually have a secret to tell you.
Ooh, that's a good start. So you're doing it to do it. You're not doing it just to focus on how much results you're getting. Because if you keep practicing those things, you'll get a lot better.